Sup guys, GuideRanger here. Now I will be showing you a balanced Guardian build. Now in this balanced Guardian build, you will have a lot of damage, critical chance, critical damage, survivability, meaning that you will have a lot of health, while at the same time you will be supporting your allies by giving to yourself and to your allies might, so you'll be supporting your allies with might, and also you will be supporting your allies by removing conditions from them. So I will be showing you now my equipment, which my equipment I have only two of these, which are soldier, so power, toughness and vitality, and then the others are of berserker, which are power, precision and ferocity. And I am also using the rune of the pack, because this will give me 175 power. It will also give me 1 to 5 precision. It will give me 30% swiftness duration, which I will surely not need in dungeons. But it has another good thing about this, because it has 25% chance when struck to grant nearby allies might, fury and swiftness for 10 seconds. And this also will give me to myself. So with this rune you will be able to also support your allies with only the rune. So this build you will be able to support yourself and support your allies, while you will have a lot of survivability. And these are my ascended that I'm using. And also in this build I will be using a sword, and then if you prefer a torch or if you prefer a focus, but I mostly prefer a torch because I will have the cleansing flame and I will be able to cure conditions on my allies. Now as for the utility skills, I mostly recommend to have smite condition, because with this one you will remove conditions on only your allies and not to yourself, and with this one you can remove conditions but only to yourself. So with this you remove conditions to your allies, and this you remove condition to yourself. And if you want, you can also use this one to remove conditions, but you have two condition removing skills, and also if you have Signet of Resolve you will also remove one condition every 10 seconds. So this build is quite good against condition dungeons. And then Wall of Reflection, because this will surely be needed in dungeons, because in this build you will be balanced, and by balanced you will be able to support and deal damage and have survivability. And then also this is mostly and highly recommended in dungeons, because in dungeons this is the most used skill, because you will be stacking, so you go into a corner and stack. You can just use this skill so that you can pull them to your position. Now as for the traits that I have chosen 2 in Zeal, 5 in Radiance, 6 in Honor and 1 in Virtues. Now I also said that with this build you will be dealing a lot of damage, but this is how I made this build, because in this build you can have up to 40% increased additional damage. And as you are seeing, I don't have that much power because I have only put 2 in Zeal. So in this build I have focused in exchanging the power that I will gain from the Zeal with the additional damage that I will gain from the bonus traits. And with the bonus traits I can have up to 40% additional damage. So as for the first one, which will give me an increase of 10% damage, is this one, which is Fury Rat. And if the enemy is burning, which he will surely be burning with this build, you will be dealing 10% increased damage. And then as for the second one, I have chosen a supportive skill, which is Searing Flames. And with this one is mostly used for bosses, because there are some bosses that have boons, and when you deal burning damage then you will remove a boon from them. So this skill is quite useful for dungeons. And if you really don't want to use this skill, then you can use Blinding Exposure. And with this one, when you inflict blindness, and this one will inflict blindness, this skill, and this skill will also inflict blindness, then you will inflict 3 vulnerability. So if you use these two at the same time, then you will inflict 6 vulnerability for 11 seconds. And then as for the second one, I have chosen so that if I'm using a sword or spear, I will have an additional 10% damage increase. So now if the enemy is burning and I have a sword, then I will have 20% additional damage increase. And then I have put points till 5 so that I will be able to get radiant power, and if an enemy has a condition on him, you will deal 10% additional damage. So in other words, if the enemy has burning, then you will be able to deal 20% additional damage. Now, as for the honor, the first one that I have chosen is also a supportive skill, and with this one, whenever you revive an ally, you and your ally will gain Aegis protection and regeneration. And then as for the second one, there are two you can choose, but I highly suggest Empowering Might. And with Empowering Might, you will also again be supporting your allies and yourself. And with this one, whenever you land a critical hit, then for you and for your allies, which has a maximum of 5 targets, then you gain 1 might. And now you have elusive power, and with elusive power, you will only gain an additional 10% damage increase if your endurance is not full. And then as for the last one, you will have an additional 3000 HP. So with the honor, you have 3000 HP, and here 3000 HP. So with this build, you will have a 6000 HP. And now I'm going to test this build, and I have changed it to hold the line so that I will have some regen, and I will also have some protection, but for not a long duration. So at this moment, I am dealing 30% additional damage. And as you are seeing, I have a lot of might on me, and also remember that the might on me are the might that my allies will have. Change to the greatsword, and I will lose the 10% extra damage. So when I changed to my greatsword, I lost that 10% additional damage, but I had the chance to use 3 great damage dealing skills. So guys, that's all about this build. I hope you use it, and I hope you have an enjoyable time in doing dungeons and dealing damage and have survivability at the same time. So like, subscribe, and if you want, leave a comment behind, and see you next time in another video.